Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah.
Hey everyone, before we begin this week's episode of the Matthew and Rizzle Show, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you and enjoy the show. Okay, Twobadour Brooke, welcome to the Matthew and Rizzle Show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you, Matthew and Rizzle.
Always a pleasure, and I'm really excited for the conversation we're about to get into. I mean, going all the way back to B20, fast forwarding to a couple of weeks from now, Dreamverse. Before we get into all the good stuff, I think it'd be great if both of you could briefly introduce yourselves, tell us what you're doing in the crypto space, and maybe a little bit of a background, and we can get started from there.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well, I will go first. I am heading up operations at Metapurse. And I also work with Matthew at Metacast Group, which is a NFT advertising company. And I first got introduced to the Metapurse team working on the B20 project.
Nice. We're waiting for the punchline, Brooke.
Okay. Well, that's it. Sorry to disappoint.
So strong. Okay. I'm Twobadour. I basically do what Brooke tells me to at Metapurse. I'm the steward of Metapurse. And I basically did what Matthew told me to do in the NFT space before we founded Metapurse. So it's worked out fine. So this whole podcast is going to go, Brooke's going to tell me to say some things and Matthew has asked me to say hello world, and that's how I'm going to start. So yeah, go on.
Amazing. Well, obviously, the big topic and what I'm really, really excited to talk about is Dreamverse. But I think it would be really helpful for folks if we kind of rewind and go back in time a little bit, back to like January of this year, which feels like a decade ago already, and talk about what went down with B20 and how that is related and how that intersects with what you guys are planning for Dreamverse.
Wow. How do I put this? It's like the first big hit of something really addictive, like a massive dose of positivity that we hadn't felt in a really, really long time. And a big chunk of that comes from working with people like you, Matthew, and Rizzle. I mean, we practically launched the B20 thing together. And the experience of working together, with people from all walks of life from all over the world to create something special, something experiential out of NFTs was just heady. And we had to do that again. And so in a way, Dreamverse is just a repeat of that feeling. We wanted to feel that collaboration, that energy again. And that formed a huge part of what it was. But Dreamverse was also a beautiful learning experience for us, learning curve, if you might call it. I mean, it is the farthest thing that I can think of to a typical token project. But we did learn that if it walks like a token and squawks like one, people are going to ask when moon, the inevitable question. And so one of the toughest things we had to do post Dreamverse was to not ruin the vibe, right? The original intention of P20 project, which was, and Rizzle will remember this, which was like almost like a movie production, is to leave it untainted, unedited once it's out there, once it's released to the public, like True Lies. And the toughest part for us was to not mess with that vibe. And the other big learning was that you ought to communicate to the world not by talking about something or by, writing reams of text as blogs or tweet threads, but by design, right? It should be so experiential that you don't need me to talk about it too much. And that's what Dreamverse is about. There's no talking heads at Dreamverse. There are no expositions. It's just pure experience of what NFTs can be today.
This is great for me, man, because I've sort of been nose down in my own stuff and have seen some of the buzz about DreamWorks. It seems like a ton of people are involved in this event at NFT.NYC. But could you and/or Brooke just sort of like zoom way out and just like, for someone who's like just stumbling upon this for the first time, like what is Dreamverse and, as an entity?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll let Brooke and that first off, it's not part of NFT.NYC. It's a whole other event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Dreamverse is on November 4th, which is the last day of NFT.NYC. We are platinum sponsors of that event, but this is a separate event altogether. There's really two parts of Dreamverse. We have the daytime Dreamverse gallery, which is 12 to 4 p.m., and our event space, which is Terminal 5 in the Manhattan area, which is a 3-story venue, approximately 40,000 square feet, shuts down for 4 hours and reopens again for Dreamverse Party, which is 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And essentially, I would describe both parts as an experiential, immersive art installation. During the gallery, we will feature our 10 NFT OG curators on the 3rd floor, and each of those curators have selected 10 other artists to display throughout the venue. And Metapurse ourselves have selected 8 featured artists to display on the 1st floor in this immersive installation that we are deeming the intersection. We are also partnering with Time magazine on the gallery. They'll be contributing some NFT artworks from their Timepieces collection. And we'll have, some other treats for attendees like VR booths so people can experience VR artwork the way it's intended, augmented reality booths and holograms and some other surprises. For the party, we're really excited that is headlined by DJ Alesso, opened by RAC and Please and Thank You. And I'm not sure when this podcast is going out, but if you release it in a few days, I can tell you that we also have another special guest, Karsten Haller, who's a world-renowned artist doing a quote-unquote social experiment at Dreamverse, and more details on that to come. But of course, the main gem of the evening party is the inaugural showcasing of the Beeple 5000 artwork. We are working with an event production studio to create this experience. Essentially, you can expect 24-foot moving LCD screens, projection mapping, and more. That's just a high-level overview. There's going to be even more surprises, which we're excited about.
So this is... Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah.
No, so this is like an event to kick off, like this is sort of like a, you guys are making a big splash event, and then like what does Dreamverse like become or like evolve into post event?
Rizzle, that's an excellent question, and the answer is we have no idea. We're doing this because we just think it's a great idea. There is no end game for Dreamverse. There is no monetization strategy. There is nothing behind it. It's just, like I said, it comes from that realization that, NFTs ought to be experienced. I mean, would you rather talk about NFTs, or would you rather look at them, dance to them, be surrounded by them? And the answer was Dreamverse to us. The more important reason, I suppose, is it becomes a massive stage for all of the artists in the NFT space, right? The people that we fell in love with, the whole reason why Metapurse exists today, right? These 150 artists that were chosen by these 10 OGs, which you all know, right? We have, who do we have? We have Sparrow, we've got Josie Bellini, Metageist, Angie Taylor, Judy Mam from Dada, A Lot of Money, Mattia Cutini, Skinny, Snowfro, and Hackatao as our main curators. And they picked 10 artists, some of whom are really well known, some of whom are completely obscure. And the beauty of it is they all get to share that same stage. And that's what it's all about, man.
And
Yeah,
like, this is,
I would just, oh, sorry. I would just echo that and also say, like, so many of us in this digital world have never met in real life. I mean, I've only met you guys one time. Many of us hide behind avatars or pseudonyms. It's just really going to be almost like a spiritual mecca for the NFT community to gather in this one spot and celebrate NFTs.
yeah, the meeting up in real life and all these relationships that people have formed and forged in the metaverse really coming together in the flesh. It really is magical. It's hard to understate exactly how powerful these meetings are and how fun they are at the end of the day. But I have a question that kind of goes back to B20, and B20 was a really cool experience to be a part of. I think the event itself was just a grand slam. It was amazing. Afterwards, there was definitely a lot of lessons learned, to put it in one way. I'm curious, like, are you worried about any of the sort of like negative shade that was thrown on B20 after the B20 event, kind of casting a negative light on what you guys are planning for Dreamverse? Or do you think that Dreamverse is sort of going to set the stage and maybe show people what B20 was in a way that they hadn't seen it? I'm curious, like, how you're thinking about the relationship between the two events, seeing as they're coming from the same group of folks, essentially.
Yeah, I think that part was inevitable, Matt. Like, you might have surmised by now, but Dreamverse is a thing of its own. And if we were really worried about the negative fallout or whatever of, post B20, we would have tried stuff like, listing the token or trying to, do airdrops and stuff. No, I believe that, B20 is already part of history, in a way that you can't take away from it at all. So it has its place in history. It will retain that place in history, irrespective of what happens. Dreamverse is an evolution of what we experienced at B20, pretty much. Sorry about that. It's an evolution of what we experienced with B20, which is this collaborative aspect of the NFT space. I mean, these artists, Matt, are, there's no reason for them to have said yes to us. None of them had to, but they did. I mean, and that is way more precious to us than any potential, media fallout or whatever anybody else says. If an artist trusts us enough to be part of what we're doing, then I think we're walking the right path.
Okay. So I think I've got it. Dude, I really like this, like, sort of, I feel like it's got like a crypto art, like Burning Man type of vibe, like, or like futuristic Burning Man type of vibe, right?
Exactly.
That's cool. I get like the, unveiling of the people, like all the OG crypto artists that are involved are like, people I've been a huge fan of for like a very, very long time now. How does Time Magazine like fit into this whole equation, or like where did they seem sort of like the odd duck, or like the thing that I don't quite understand how it like fits into the thingy here?
Interestingly enough, I've spoken with Keith a few times, and like, I have a history in the media. I used to be a journalist at one point. Don't hold that against me, but I know how this stuff works. And the way Keith has approached the NFT space, with time, is completely, sorry about that again. The way Keith approached the NFT space is completely contradictory to how a media house would work. And to me, it showed a lot of heart. And the way he talks about it, his passion's very real. The way he reaches out to artists and the way he works with them is very real. And it just sort of flowed into a natural, sort of a collaboration again. I wouldn't even call it like a partnership, but it is a genuine collaboration between what he wants from the space, what he expects. And interestingly enough, what we're doing with Metapurse is something that he wants to do as well. And I think that's what he's evolving towards. But it's going to be a lot tougher for a media organization to get there.
So what is their role?
Are they like sponsored?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just trying to understand. Are they like sponsoring the event, or are they like contributing artwork, or are they like getting first dibs on covering the event? Or I'm like trying to figure out.
They're just contributing artwork to the event.
Gotcha.
No first dibs. I mean, there's no expectation either way.
Specifically, they're contributing a collage of their timepieces NFTs that they've created with, I think, around 40 NFT artists, including like Jan Silva, Fuck Render, some other big names. So essentially, they're combining all of those together and creating almost like a Beeple 5000 style collage, and we're displaying that on a screen in the gallery.
Cool. And well, this is more like a practical question about planning this major event and this celebration around the unveiling of the Beeple 5000. Because we've been, over the past couple of years, like immersed in the metaverse and these virtual spaces, like Twobadour going back, working on the whip with us, and then the B20 event earlier this year. Like, what were the major lessons learned from putting together and doing all this planning for like an in real life event? And like, were there any surprises along the way? Anything that you're just like, holy crap, this is like way harder or like surprising compared to what we've been doing in the metaverse?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest surprise was the administrative hoops you have to jump through with onboarding talent at a physical event, specifically talent that is tied to all the bureaucracy of like record labels and just the music infrastructure as a whole. Negotiations for talent took so much longer than I expected, and it really kind of like highlighted the importance of creators kind of taking control back into their own hands. For example, like I know RAC is working a lot on that. But then also too, like it was surprising working with vendors who are such believers in the crypto space, but then surprisingly might not accept USDC or ETH as a form of payment. That was also surprising. So I do think that we all have a little bit more work to do and kind of communicating the ease of crypto payments as a whole for like all these different industries.
Is there anything you guys have seen like on the other side of the coin, like maybe that we wouldn't have seen, a year and a half, 2 years ago at last, like NFT.NYC, where like you feel maybe encouraged? You guys have any words of encouragement for us in terms of like crypto adoption or anything? Or has it been like a lot of that kind of, thing going on?
Yeah, it's just the whole familiarity around crypto, right? And that's driven completely by NFTs. People know what you're talking about when you say NFTs, when you say crypto art and stuff. So that there's that instant recognition, which makes it a lot easier to have those conversations with. So yeah, definitely encouraging, I'd say. I wouldn't go as far as to say, this is going to accelerate adoption. You and I both know there's some ways to go, but I think we are getting there. The first step is for people to know what this is, to be aware of the space. And I think that's already happened. Besides, I'm not in any tearing hurry to make sure that there is mainstream adoption of what we're doing, to be honest. People can take their time. And in a sense, I think it's important to have a little bit of friction, because the flip side of being part of a decentralized ecosystem is that it comes with inherent risks, which no one can sort of solve for you, right? You have to discover yourself why seed phrases are important to say, why you can't, give away your private key to other people. And if you abstract all of that away, then you're putting yourself at even greater risk. So maybe a little bit of friction, a little bit of a learning curve isn't so bad. So what if it takes a couple of years for the rest of the world to catch up?
Yeah, and I didn't mean to paint such a bleak picture. I would say overall, every vendor that we've worked with was so.
This is what I've come to expect, Brooke. In this reality, it's not bleak.
I would say just overall, everyone has been extraordinarily excited to work with us on the world's first NFT art and music festival. Almost everyone that we've spoken with has heard of NFTs, has heard of the Beeple 5000 work in particularly, and is really excited to get involved, even if they've never, been involved in the space before. Our event production agency, Eventique, for example, this is their first NFT event, and they're going to be interviewed on Fox News in New York City in a week to talk about it. So I think mainstream awareness is definitely there, and I think I would say that this event definitely is a big step in that.
I really want to talk about the tickets, a lot of money designed tickets that you've released for this event that I was fortunate enough to get a sneak peek of. Just tell me about the concept behind the tickets, the rollout, the art, all of that, because I feel like this is a really cool way to spur on adoption of NFTs in the ticketing front, which is, again, like just this idea and concept that I think a lot of people always have. But this event and Dreamverse and how you're implementing the tickets just seems so cool and so righteous, and the artist, a lot of money, just the man.
Yeah, I mean, a very quick intro about a lot of money's context in this before I pass it on to Brooke. When you think about NFTs and a massive party and chaos and fun, the first name that pops into your head is a lot of money. Nobody does that better, man. I mean, his the psychedelic stuff he builds in crypto voxels, for instance, is like out of the way, and that's the kind of vibe we instantly associate with Dreamverse. So I asked him, and surprisingly enough, he said yes. It was like a 10-minute conversation, and it was wonderful just to have him there. And we wanted to make it sort of special, so it's not a static ticket. I let Brooke take over from here.
Yeah, so we've partnered with Yellow Heart to be the infrastructure behind our NFT tickets, and in doing so, we were able to create a really special transformable ticket. So one of the things that we were kind of brainstorming around was, if we have these special, a lot of money NFT tickets, are people just going to buy the tickets and not necessarily want to come to the event? Maybe they just want to collect these beautiful pieces of artwork, which we can't blame them. So our idea was to create black and white artwork. And once you scan physically into the event, that artwork actually transforms to be colored. So it kind of offers another little motivation to attend the event.
Dude, that was going to be my biggest question, right? Because I feel like with NFT tickets, they're like, in theory, like a great solution, but also like inherently collectible. Like, is there any way to like really safeguard yourself from like someone just saying like, some whale just coming in and buying up like all the tickets, and even like, then just selling them at exorbitant prices for people who genuinely want to attend the event? Like, these are all sort of like uncharted ticketing situations that I feel like, last time that I saw it in real time was like last NFT.NYC. And, there just wasn't like enough demand in the space to like really have those kind of concerns. But now, like, especially with someone like a lot of money, like, I'm like, dude, I bet like, even if you don't attend the thing and get it scanned, a black and white, a lot of money on the secondary market, somewhere down the line will probably, you'll probably do all right. I'm not trying to like, blow up your like ticketing strategy, but I feel like we're going to see more and more people trying to navigate like these waters. And, how do you like sort of balance that?
In a sense, I think we're still a little way away from that for two reasons. One is this isn't, a typical collectible, and you've seen versions of this in the past, right? It's like having multiple editions of a single artwork. Whereas the season now seems to be about 10,000 generative collectibles, which this is not. And the other aspect, interestingly enough, which kind of goes contrary to some of the things that we believe, is that Dreamverse, I don't think, has been completely understood yet. It's hard to fathom, right? I mean, I sense Matthew asking me the question through some of his earlier questions, even in this interview. What he's trying to ask me is why the heck are you doing this? And it comes out like, what is it that you're trying to achieve? What's the event like? So I don't think there is a complete understanding of the purpose of Dreamverse or of why we're doing this. And I think that will happen only when you experience it physically. So I worry about, it being gamified or, people trying to game the system after they've experienced Dreamverse once.
I feel that. And as someone that is excited to attend Dreamverse, I'm just curious, like, if you had one ask for any or all of the attendees that come through, like, what do you want them to pay attention to? What do you want them to kind of have how to shape their mindset before they come to the event? I'm just thinking about like the bigger picture after the event. Like, these people are going to have experienced something. Like, what should they do at that point? Or is it just the experience in and of itself that you want folks to kind of pay attention to and immerse themselves in?
In terms
the
of
experience itself. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brooke.
Oh, sorry. I would just say I would really encourage attendees to participate. This isn't just going to be a show that you come and watch. We want you to explore the entire 3 stories and rooftop of the venue and uncover things that you might not expect. There's going to be, QR codes to scan. There might be apps to download to experience AR, or the Carson experience, for example, will require an app for you to transform your phone into a light show. Don't be afraid to participate in these things, because we need everyone to participate to make this a truly community-driven experience.
How do you,
Yeah,
what are the like basic details, like for people listening who are like, yes, I want to do this thing? Like, when are they tickets out there? Do they go on sale? Like, how does someone get involved if they're getting FOMO by listening to y'all?
Tickets are on sale. You can go to dreamverse.life, and we have links to all tickets, NFT and non-NFT tickets alike from there. VIP tickets are sold out, but we have plenty of GA tickets available. And yeah, sorry, Twobadour, I think you were going to say something earlier and I interrupted you.
No, I'm sure it wasn't very smart. but yeah, I mean, the tickets are out there at dreamverse.life. I'd say what I'd love for people to pay attention to or observe is the little things. I mean, you always come for the big headlines, the flashy things, but it's the little things that we're proudest of. And it starts from the fact that we have completely unrelated collaborations, unexpected collaborations. We have people sitting out of Chennai, graphic designers working with Russian creative directors. That's awesome. There's this soundscape for the Dreamverse gallery, basically, a sort of an oral experience that you get when you're looking at the art. And that soundscape was created by an artist, from the deep south in India. And he, in turn, sort of became a DAO and co-opted 29 to 30 artists from the hinterlands of India who would otherwise never, ever, get to expose their music or their art to somebody in New York. And similarly, nobody in New York would ever get to listen to, the ambient sounds from a field or a paddy field in the south of India, because that's not how global algorithms work. This sort of collision of different cultures, different influences is what we're most excited about. We have artists from the Dada Collective, who are predominantly Latin American, coming and drawing, live art there, which they did at the MoMA at the Tate some time ago. Having them do that. So, you might want to sort of immerse yourself and also pay attention to these little things, because you're going to pick up sounds and sights and talk to people that you never would get to otherwise.
See, this is why I love these conversations, because I feel like it's these little details, like you're just kind of like leaving out like breadcrumbs right now. There's so many of them that it's hard to describe in a tweet or a tweet storm or even just a PR press release or something like that. I can't wait for this personally. It seems and sounds like it's going to be like something I've never, and probably no one has ever experienced. So that's super, super cool. I could probably talk more about this, but while we have you here, I think it would be a shame if we aren't able to pick your brain, Twobadour and Brooke, just about kind of your current view on the entire NFT space, where we are, any particularly spicy hot takes you'd like to kind of throw into the conversation. I think that'd be a fun way to head towards the end of our conversation and keep people hungry for more coming out of the Dreamverse Twitter and announcements and everything like that in the coming weeks.
I'll let Brooke go first.
In terms of spicy takes, oh geez, I'm not sure. I'm just really excited right now about the experiential layer of NFTs, and I'm excited about, you know, what an event like Dreamverse will spawn across the world, and what we might see happen in other events as a result of Dreamverse. I really believe that we're kind of, you know, paving the way and giving almost like a template to other people to do similar things. So I'm really excited to see other events like this in the coming years. So hopefully this will start a movement of how NFTs can make landfall, as we said before.
Nicely done. I don't know, man. You know, I've been thinking, and most of this comes from the conversation I have with Metacobin, is that I think the NFT space and crypto in general has failed in identifying a fair model to distribute value. I don't know if that's a hot enough take, but that's kind of how I feel. Because, you know, whether it's a token project, whether it's a collectible project, one second. Is that too loud?
It's okay. We can edit that out.
Or we could have some fun.
Okay.
What are you doing over there, man?
Nothing. I don't even know where that thing came from. Either it's from my kitchen, some sort of a mixer grinder thing, or somebody really has a bad throat. That's all okay. As I was saying, I think the NFT space and the crypto space at large has failed to, arrive at a...
Angry pipes right there.
I figured he was like making some sort of shake or something.
Twobadour's take is way hotter than mine, so stay tuned.
He's got to finish grinding his kale though first, or whatever his coffee.
Well, I think
beans.
he's in the bathtub. I think he's just turning on some hot water to heat it up again.
That's how I imagine.
Definitely a bubble bath
right
guy. Definitely a bubble bath
guy. He's phoning it in from the bubble bath.
Yeah, just that's a big rubber ducky making all that noise. It's good. Oh man, sorry. Okay.
You're talking about value distribution and how the current scene, or where we are, doesn't do a very good job of that.
Yeah, it doesn't, right? I mean, it's fine. It started off with really free marketish intentions, but then very quickly it becomes prohibitive for anybody else to get in, and that's not fair. And then you get these conversations about scarcity and having too much and diluting and stuff. But there must be some way to distribute value, not just to the community that's in front of you, but in some ways in perpetuity, right? And that's a real ticket to scale anything, right? You can't have a 10,000 collectible thing, and when the floor price hits 40 ETH, expect somebody that's new in the NFT space to be excited by it. And so most of our thinking and the stuff that we're doing, whether it's producing NFTs with people or doing stuff like Dreamverse, these are all experiments in trying to distribute value, essentially. I mean, what does an artist expect at the end of the day, right? There's two things. One, most importantly, more than even a big bag of money, he wants his art to live, to breathe, and to have some sort of a showcase. And post the Big People incident in March, we were sort of caught up in thinking about what it is we we ought to do, because it started to feel like a responsibility, right? We have this voice, people are looking at us, listening to us. What do you do with it? And I think the answer is to use something as bright as that to shine a light on the real beauty of the NFT space, on the real collaborations, on the real work that's happening in the NFT space. And Dreamverse is just, the first of what I hope are going to be many experiments in that line. I mean, we've got people on the posters, obviously, and we have him there because we love his work ethic, the thing that he brings to the space, the fact that he's a historic and a cultural icon there. But he's best served, we honor him best by using him to reflect light on more artists in the space, on more creators in the space. And that's what it's about.
Dude, I got sort of a spicy take, I guess, but it's actually like a compliment masquerading as one, man, because I really like the whole concept behind what you guys are doing. And I've actually like said it a few times previously that I feel like this the kind of thing that what you're doing is what like an NFT conference should look like in the future, right? Like we're sort of still like going off this like old world model of like, people getting up on stage and like talking for a few minutes, like rinse, repeat. And I have no idea how NFT.NYC plans to like navigate the volume of speakers, but even, Bitcoin Miami, all these conferences sort of have like the same flow where like NFTs really have this like experiential component. And I almost wish like, it wasn't happening concurrently with NFT.NYC, because I feel like this is what I would much rather be doing all day and then like go chill and hang out for like drinks afterwards. Like I could like, and you see like a lot of people coming into, New York City for like, quote unquote, the conference, but they don't even have tickets. They're just coming to do like, the other stuff that's going on. So I wonder if like, we're just moving more and more in that direction. And this is sort of like, phase one of like this shift in what these kind of conferences actually look like. Because even with crypto, it's like hard to really just like appreciate anything beyond like a certain point of once you're just sitting there and listening to someone talk about it until you actually have to like do something with it or incentivize to like download a thing or like scan a thing or actually partake in some sort of experience. So I don't know, that it's a long ramble to say like I hope your guys is I feel like this could be such a dope standalone event that a lot of people would make a pilgrimage for and sort of build around that. And I hope it doesn't get overshadowed by like all these other like crazy things that are going on, including NFT.NYC and like all these spin-off events that are just seem like they're becoming more and more popular the more these conferences continue to happen. So I don't know if I'm not necessarily looking for like a response, but I would love to see more of what you're doing, like, in its own, right. So that that can be like the featured thing of the, weekend or whatever it is.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, to be honest, this was meant to be the day after NFT.NYC. I mean, we already booked the venues and all of that stuff. And then NFT.NYC extended their conference by a day because of, like you said, the large volume of speakers. So it's okay. I mean, in a sense, we're not too worried about the overlap. And to be honest with you, I do hope that it really catches on. People like flock to it in droves. But even if that didn't happen immediately, or even if that doesn't happen, we'd still do Dreamverse because it's almost compulsive at this stage. I mean, we do it because we love those creators, we love those artists, and we do it because they said yes when they didn't have to, and it's as simple as that. And it's ironic, right? When you talk about other crypto conferences in general, ironic because quite honestly, it's the artists that gave this much of credibility to the space. And they always are relegated to becoming some sort of an afterthought with these events. And we just wanted to flip that model around a little bit and make it all about the artist. I mean, like I said, we don't have to speak a single word there. You just walk in and you know what it's about.
Yes. Yes to all that. Yes to the artists breathing life into the space. Yes to artists making everything that we're doing right now that much more interesting and exciting. And yeah, just being the living, beating heartbeat of the whole movement. I'm so happy that you guys are celebrating that and putting the artists at the center of this event, this experience, I should say. It's not an event, it's something that people need to go and actively participate in to maximize. It's not something like the NFT.NYC conference itself. That's such a passive. Dragonate, edit this part out.
Your wish is my command.
No, I've been pretty vocal about just my disdain for the actual NFT.NYC event itself. The people around it, the people that attend it, that's where the value lies. And whatever you can do to design to get folks to actually actively participate and have these experiences is what's up. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I get
sorry.
that. I'm with you there. No, I'm with you there, and I think it'll take a little time. Like I said, it's a massive leap of faith, Matthew. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like we're able to sell massive amounts of sponsorships to this, and in return have them speak or anything. Right? There's even our sponsors, a handful of them as they are, don't get to say anything. If they have something that they've created, some art or something, they get to display that. And the event itself is not a profit-making venture. It's a massive cost. But again, it's compulsive because this is the only way we know to express our journey so far and to say what we want to say without saying it.
You guys know one of the things we love to do towards the end here is like a super intrusive shakedown of your crypto wallets. And it sounds like you guys have been like crazy busy and understandably like organizing. This is like a massive undertaking, and it will be really, really dope to sort of, put this all like in real world context and, show up to see this. But in the meantime, have either of you been like collecting anything on the side or any like interest in any projects that don't like necessarily have anything to do with Dreamverse, or what else have you guys seen out in the NFT space that you guys think is cool?
I'm really excited about Josie Bellini's new project, Cyber Brokers. Yes. I know that she will be displaying some of the Cyber Broker artwork at Dreamverse, and she's actually going to be on one of the Dreamverse wheat tastings that you'll be seeing physically around New York City. So I'm anxiously awaiting that one. What about you two?
I don't know, man. And to be honest, ever since March, it's been a massive mindfuck. Are you allowed to swear on this show? Is it that kind of a show?
Yeah.
It's not for children.
Let it rip.
So
I already said fuck render, so I think we're kind of in the hole here.
That's his name. No, yeah. So I can't unsee what I now see with the NFT space. With all kinds of whether it's collectibles or projects in general, right? So not much excites me in that sense, except for things that will only unfold maybe a year from now or two. Like Alethea, for instance, I'm excited about what Standard Creative might bring. I'm excited about what Record Shop will end up doing with their music NFTs and so on. So I haven't really been collecting much. What I am excited about, and incidentally, I don't know, it's very, very broadly falls into the collectible category, but I love Creeps and Weirdos simply because of where it came from. It's generative, and the generative component is the human beings that drew those pictures behind it. So I love the Creeps and Weirdos project, and that's about the only thing that I bought for myself. And even Metapurse has not gone out shopping in a really long time because of this very same reason, right? We don't honestly know what to buy. We'd rather spend the money on, serving the artists in ways like Dreamverse. But yeah, I'm excited about the Creeps and Weirdos that I bought for myself. Just a couple. That's all I could afford.
There'll be a Dreamverse too.
Oh yeah, incidentally.
That's awesome. I love that response. It was almost like a spicy take, actually, in that reply to what you've been collecting, the non-collecting aspect. But I know you got your guys' time so precious, and you only have a couple more weeks until D-Day and the event goes live. And I can only imagine all the last minute details that need to still be pinned down and all the logistics and all that good stuff. So won't keep you too much longer, and just really wanted to thank both of you for jumping on, sharing all the details, probably just only scratching the surface of the details that you have baked in to this experience that will be Dreamverse. I don't know if either of you have any kind of like last parting words you want to leave our listeners. If you want to kind of let people know any more websites or specific dates, times, things like that, before we wrap up, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. I would just encourage everyone to follow Dreamverse on Twitter, Dreamverse_life, and head over to Dreamverse.life to check out the various tickets that are still available. And we hope to see you guys in New York.
Yay.
There you go.
I absolutely second what Brooke said. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Twobadour, Brooke, it was always a pleasure, but especially a pleasure to have you on our show today. Thank you both so much, and keep doing your thing, and super excited to meet up in real life in New York City at Dreamverse in just a couple of weeks.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Bye, Rizzle.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter, and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.